Hi and welcome to another episode, and what we've got here is xencelabs quick keys. Now first off, I want to point out I purchased this myself off of Amazon. It was just under £100. It normally retails for around £125. Convert that to whatever it is in your country. Well, as I say, purchased it myself, so all reviews and on all comments and everything of the honest partaking from me. Now I could show you the rest of the box, but it'll ruin the design and everything of what's inside. There's a couple of languages on the side, not in English, and on that side in English and some other languages, but basically it tells you what you can connect it to and where it was made, blah blah blah. Now it says it was designed in Portland, Oregon. It's made in China, but when you go onto their website, their support part, if you want to call them, is a +33 number, which means they're in France, I believe. Anyways, let's get inside and let's get a bit more exciting about what's actually in. So the way the packaging is, there's no bottom to it. There's some numbers for your serial number and everything like that, but it slides off the top, so very fancy. Which is a pain to try to get that back in there. You have to open up the flap, but that's not our problem, because what we want to do is just get inside. And then another lid. Let's get everything outside now. It says thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Gracias and danke and merci and whatever other languages are there. Sorry, I don't know all different languages. And the other side is 3 QR codes to get you going with the start of it, the registration and the support. Why they haven't just got one page and do that bit by bit all the way down, I don't understand. But at the same time, it fills this card out. But it is a bit of a pain having to go to the start bit, then the register bit, then the support bit. There's one thing I would like them to change for future customers, because I really can't get my head around why you want 3 steps to register your device. So there's a bit that comes out, but there's the device and the warranty card, which actually says the pen tablet warranty, which gives a bit of a segue to their other device, which is pretty much their main thing, because this is all aimed at artists. And it's a tablet you can draw on, so you got the fancy pen and everything like that if you're into that sort of thing. Now I'd love to be, but sadly that part of my brain is not exactly activated. So as much as I can appreciate different types of art, well, stuff that actually looks like stuff, I can't draw that way. So less about me and more about this device. As I move this box out of the way, so we're still pushing their name, which I'm not being paid for advertisement, so who cares really. But inside here, you've got part of the fun stuff. So nice little bit to put the device inside. This black felt type material inside catches every single bit of dust that there is about. A USB-A to USB-C cable. Also a wireless dongle for it. Also in here, yeah. And I can go into this bit here, you might see with the stitching, there's like a little pocket just at the side here, like a ticket pocket on your jeans. A converter from USB-A down to USB-C, so if you've got a really modern computer where they've got all them on, nice little adaptation there. But let's put that back in there before we lose it. And then I'm going to put this in the computer now, because as I say, I've already played with this device and it'll be easier to show you through the wireless side of things than using the cable, but you can use the cable instead if you want. So as I say, let's stick that there for now, but I'm going to just turn around and plug this in. One moment. Off screen should never turn you back to the camera, they say. Right, let's open this up, and inside we have this nice device, which you can see the reflection of my camera gear. But which way does it really go? Because there's their logo at the bottom. So maybe it should go this way. The truth is, it doesn't really matter. Let's turn it on. Okay, so he wants it to be that way around. But I've got it plugged in, so it's actually that way around. So it should find the driver, so plug it in. Why on earth? It's not wanting to pick it up. That's not so good. Oh dear. Oh, there we go. It finally found it. Just took a little while. Right, creak, creak, creak of the chair. You might be able to see. There we go. Tip it a little bit. So by default, it has these button presses. So if you know what the shortcuts are in Windows, you'll know what they are across the top there, and of course the ones at the bottom are just the same as what your keyboard does. But if you set things up, which I will show you in a moment of how to do things like that in their bit of software that you have for it, you can make the wheel do things independently. Basically end up with 4 modes, and then you've got 4 modes for the keys as well, which are independent from each other. That's what I was trying to say. So you can go to other, edit and everything like that. Can't really change much right now because the way that I've got it set up. I tilt it again so you can see. See, it was trying to come up with edit and mode 2 zoom. It's stuck there because that's what I have is default as being touch it, because that's at the moment by default I have it so the wheel does nothing, because it is a bit of a pain when you're on your desktop in Windows and you nudge the wheel and it makes all your icons jump around in stupid sizes. So let me load up the program I have done to it. Which is actually Video Pro X by Magix, which I've also invested in. And when that loads up, it will load up, honest. There we go. And by default, it should jump across to the modes of that. So now, see, Video Pro X. I've got different, the wheel is changing colours because I've got it doing different things in the editor. Because that's the thing. xencelabs don't sell this as being a thing for video editing, because I'm sure you can get jog wheels and stuff and they're all very interesting, but for the amount of space I have on my desk I wanted something small, and I don't mind jumping backwards and forwards in the modes of the wheel to do different things, because obviously most jog wheels is like a spinny bit and on the outer edge it's sprung and you twist and whatever with that. Okay, so let's actually load up the program that I've got set for this, which is Video Pro X, actually version 14, but the idea is that you can actually set it up so that when a different program loads, a different profile for everything will load. You have to mess around quite a bit to set it all up, but when it's done, and you can export the settings and everything just in case something goes wrong, which I recommend you do, like, you know, back them up, emailing yourself, that sort of thing. Now, so let's skip across, and then you should have seen, ta-da, there we go, different settings. So the wheel changed to purple because that's what I have it set to, and then I've got different things that I've set it up to do, which makes life a lot easier, really does. The scroll wheel I've got so that I can zoom in and out, I can move up and down, and I can move the marker, you know, the little line that goes up and down on your timeline, to be able to scroll frame by frame as well. Now the only drawback I have got with this thing is that you can't, at the moment, at least with the firmware, you cannot press a button and move the wheel at the same time. So there doesn't seem to be like a modifying situation. It's a bit of a shame. At least I haven't managed to get it to work. But let's change to a different bit. So I've also got it so when I'm starting up I can load a new project, or start a new one, open one, save as, export as HEVC, which in the menu system of the thing is a bit of a pain to get to. So just one press, and if I want to do an MP3, single frame as a JPEG, I could change that to a PNG or something like that. Or I can press return as if I'm pressing return on the keyboard. And the other one is just back to the normal cut and paste type stuff you might want to do. So yeah, it's a few button pressings to get to everything, but as I say, once you've set up your different ones. So yes, for the keys I said 4, didn't I? It's actually 5 because it's A to E, but it is 4 for the wheel. The action of the wheel's nice and smooth. It's got a little indentation, a concave bit, you can see just there for your finger to drag in, but quite frankly I doubt you're really going to need it. Around the edges it's also, you know, got little lines all the way around, whatever that's called, so that it's easy to grip if you want to do it that way. At the bottom of it, it's got an on-off button, and you're probably wondering why an off-on button? Because this can be charged. It's got a rechargeable battery inside, so you can charge it and on the go with your fancy tablet that folds in, and you know, transformer-like type thing folds in on itself. You can do video editing or art stuff, because obviously that's what it's sold as. The other thing I want to point out with the screen with the writing, you can set it yourself as well, so it's that way around, that way around, that way around, or that way around. That's up to you. So let's go back to the also connection. It's USB-C to charge it, or you can just leave it plugged in constantly in your computer, so that you know, it's always got power. It's also got a Kensington lock type thing on the side. Kensington locks always seem like a good idea, but you know, the truth is with Kensington locks is any thief is just going to go, oh, I can't steal this, so I shall break it instead. Yes, it stops them having it. That's really all that Kensington lock does, which in itself is a good thing, but you know, you're the one who's got to pay for the Kensington cable and the devices. On the bottom it's got sort of like a rubbery pad type thing, so at least on this mouse mat, yeah, see, it's actually moving the mouse mat. If I press down, if I'd slide it around on a mouse mat, it's still fine. On a desk, what does it do? Yeah, it still moves around a little bit, but the point is when you're just gently touching it, you know, you're just using it, it's not going to wibbly wobbly around all over the place. So I know I've jumped all over the place in this review. Very little sleep. I shall get this going on the computer, and let's have a look at the software that comes with it. The driver's just built in. I'm using Windows 11, just there's extra information there, but let's have a look at the software and see how easy it is to actually set up. So let's jump across to that. Right, the software. Should be able to see everything. Let's just move everything across just a tad so that you can. Quick keys. Right, so obviously this is everything the way that I've currently got it set up. But pretty much set A, B, C, D, E. Yeah, I know I couldn't count before. All look like this as default. And then these are all turned on as well for the modes. So let's just pretend I'm going to set things up for the first time. I click plus, and I can go find the program that's currently running, or I can go find the exe file. Nice and easy. And you just select that and it pops up here. And as you can see, these are the ones that I've set up already for my little get together of what I want things to do. Yeah, I can scroll in and out, I can zoom, I can do the marker. But let's go back to the default one and pretend I'm going to do something interesting. And for this, funnily enough, I'm going to bring in Notepad just to show you sort of how powerful this is. So there's Notepad. Let's not forget to actually select that when doing it, because it has to be that, well, basically whatever's in focus is what this gadget will affect. So as I said before, I've got it set for default, it's called other, but for default that actually I prefer the scroll wheel. This is because I was playing around before. is default, is off, because if you nudge it and it scrolls and you can enlarge your icons on your desktop and everything, and that's kind of annoying. So that's the way I have it set, but of course everyone's different, you do what you want. So we'll go back to actually turning this one back on again, and you can see it's default scrolls and everything like that. We can rename it, we can disable it, or we can reset it back to default. But let's pretend I want to do something kind of fancy, which is the bit that got me a bit stuck when I first set this up for video editing. It has these special bits for the mouse wheel up and down, and basically I learned the hard way. You got to press Control down first and hold it, then select what's up here if you want to add a modifier. Just what it is. Anyway, we can play around, we can name it and play it, but we'll not do that for now because we don't really need to for the scrolly wheel. But that's how easy it is to set it up from there. Sometimes you may find that the up should be the down and the down should be up, depending on what you're doing. You'll understand more when you play with it. But we can play around with the colours and things, it's no big deal. Let's go across to this first one. Let's enable it. And what shall we do? Well, yeah, make it purple. We can make it a bit brighter stuff. So let's make sure we're actually in that mode. Purple, there we go. That would help if we're actually in that mode. So just to prove a point, let's change that to blue. Click OK. There we go, it's blue. And if you want to move what you've done up and down, you can do that by pressing that bit there and make it move up and down. When it comes to the keys themselves, you know, again, it's pretty much like it is up here, but we'll play around with this one, and you can change it to modifiers. And as I say, they don't seem to modify anything, they just seem to do it. They don't change what the wheel's doing, though I really wish it did. I know I keep going on about it, and I'll probably go on about it again at the end, but it's true, it'd be nice. So let's mess around and change this button here. We can do lots of things. You can change the modifier, you know, for what you're doing on your keys. You can add in, oops, you can add in tablet stuff if you've got a big tablet, navigation stuff, applications, mouse clicks, an eraser. But what we want to do is keystrokes, and let's be silly here. We can add in, let's just title it RBR is great. Now you're probably wondering why I put the $sign if you haven't read already. The first $sign symbol will be add an line break. It doesn't if it's at the very beginning, so that's a lie. But yeah, if you put one in there, it'll put a line break, so you can actually have 2 lines of text. Over here, you click here, and you have to actually click the cancel, the clear, sorry. I'm highlighting everything over, everything wrong way. But yeah, for the clear. And then we put in Shift R, Shift B, Shift R, space is great. Being silly here, click OK, make sure that Notepad is actually highlighted and the caret's flashing, and then we can press that. RBR is great, so it fills out as if you did the keyboard, and that's how powerful it is. And really, you just play around doing that to each key the way that you want it for the different sets that you've got going on here. Play around with the quick key wheel bit, and that's it. It really isn't that complicated. And if you just want to export it, you can do that from up here. Sorry, wrong bit. You can export it, or you can import what you've done. Again, I'll mention, get it all set up section by section, make a backup of it, because you probably mess it up the first few times, at least I did. And it means though that you can at least bring it back dead easy instead of having to play around with what 8 times 5 and 4 different things. It gets a bit convoluted to reprogram everything again. So make sure you've got what you want and then email it yourself so that you're happy with it, and if you do have a computer crash you can at least drag it all back in again pretty quickly. Let's go back to the full screen. Right, zoom back across again, all the little fades. Would I recommend getting one of these? Definitely. It made my life so much easier in video editing. Again, I realise this is not what it's aimed at artists. But for me, for video editing, in the space that I've got next to my keyboard, you know, mouse on one side, this on the other, gamepad just about here, I'm great, I'm good. Setting it up, dead easy. If you've played around with stuff like that before, it's a bit time consuming, yes, but so setting up most things. Could they improve on the matter? Yes. Pressing a key and so that modifies what the wheel does, that would be nice, because you know you could do that then. So as in if you like moving the marker, you know, I could have it that it's set that it's doing that, and if I was pressing control down, which happens to be what happens inside the program, instead of 1 frame at a time, it would do 5. That would be nice. What's the other thing? Yes, the silly logo bit. Not that the logo's silly, it's not, but just the fact that it was the other way around. That would be nice when you've set it to 180. And then the other thing, what was that? Oh yes, when you change a mode here or here, depending on which way you set it up, actually changed the whole functionality of everything in one go, instead of, oh look, I want to be in mode 2 of my wheel, but then all the keys are in the wrong thing for that particular mode 2, so I'm going to have to press that button as well as. It'd be nice if it did it all in one go. Now if it does do it that way, it needs to be a lot easier to find it, because not everyone reads the manual. But those 2 major things that I said, I do think that's missing, and I'm sure they could bring it in. It's just a bit of coding, because after all, it's a program that sits there in your memory of your computer while it's booted up, making sure that this thing works. So yeah, come on, xencelabs, add that in. The only other thing I will add to this, the cable that they give seems like a really nice cable. I'm just going to bring it to shot there, heading in the bag. Yep, seems good. But what I've done is purchased a little USB magnets. Now, if you're watching the channel, you know that I like these things anyway. But for me, because I want this plugged in the whole time, not just being wireless, I've got a little cable. It's only 1 meter long. You can get 2 meter versions of them. Plugs in, little light comes on to let you know there's power. But the thing is that if I accidentally catch this, there might be, it's more of a chance that this will break away instead of dragging all this off with it. Also, if I decide I need a bit of space on that side, instead of having to unplug and unplug the whole time, I can just do that. Dead easy. And it not only just powers it, it also does the data bit of it and everything like that. So if you want to update, it will do. And in that case though, that means I don't need the dongle plugged in, because this is plugged in the whole time. So that's an aftermarket thing, third party, find them on Amazon, cheap enough. I would recommend doing that if you do spend the money on getting one of these. Saying that though, great bit of kit, nice bit of plastic, get yourself one, especially if you're an artist, because I can see where it would come in handy of changing what the fancy pen that you're using does with ease. But also with video editing, at least for hobbyist video editing, it definitely comes in handy. And even then I can see of where like a pro on the move with their fancy laptops and stuff, it'd come in handy for that, because it's small, compact, and even then it's battery powered. So you know, if you've got a bit of lack of space and not enough wires and stuff, you know, you can get going. In the meantime though, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, that like button, and the notification bell, because when you do that, it definitely helps the channel. Cliche, I know, but it does, guys. It really does. I really need some more subscribers. Also, check down below, hit that Patreon information and the Discord information. Come have a chat. Sometimes the channel's relatively quiet, but the more chattier people come along, I'm sure the more chatty we'll all get. Or even come play some games. We do that too, you know. As always though, happy gaming. As always though, happy gaming.